Hi, everyone. There is absolutely no mic in this room, but we don't know if it works. So I'm going to try to project as loud as I can. Can you guys hear me in the back? Awesome. I do have 3 little children, so yelling is very common in our house. It's a trait that you cannot forget. My name is Bina Bendale, and I have co-created Silent Struggle Solutions. And really, this is going to be a life changer for all the HR directors, because what we're going to be doing is I take away all the employee stress that comes to you, all the employees when they come to you about grief and their bad day or their team member who made them upset and there's just conflicts, whatever it is, we take that coaching part away from you. So crisis doesn't wait. A lot of the times we have to realize that mental health in general is on a rise, especially right now with administrations, again, not being political, but just in general, there is a lot of fear and anxiety that's coming in. And every workplace has employees that are facing silent struggles. So just a show of hands, just right now, not going to ask personal questions, but how many of you are facing something at home that you just don't want to talk about? Yeah. And how many of you feel comfortable to go to work and say, hey, I have this problem and I don't know what to do with it? Because we were trained ever since we were younger, some from kindergarten, that authority figures are actually bad. You only go to the principal's office when you are in trouble. You only go to certain other places when you are in trouble. How many of you guys, I always call HR directors the jelly sandwich, okay? You guys are like the peanut butter and jelly in the outer core. Everyone comes to you when they have a problem. But they also come to you when they feel that you are the problem, right? How many of you guys feel that? You guys, they feel that all the time. So HR leaders carries this burden without not enough support. How many of you in your HR schooling was taught how to coach? Show of hands. How many of you in your HR leader was taught how to do emotional intelligence? A little bit? A little bit? Yeah. So how would I state that if we can stop having you guys lose employees to mental health crisis and avoid HR burnout? How many of you in this room are burnt out? Be honest. I was an ER nurse for 20 years. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my life story. You guys just can't handle it all alone. So 1 in 5 employees face mental health or a personal crisis. And this is on a daily basis. These numbers are actually straggling higher and higher, which means your guys' jobs are 10 times more in need. And you guys are faced with more mental health crisis versus actually doing your job. How many of you guys feel like all you do is talk about patients and maybe they had something that they didn't like and it just ruined their day for the rest of the day and they're just not nice people, right? And you're just like, dude, just smile. Just comes in and then you're not able to get any of your real jobs done. And then you feel like you're burnt out or not caught up. Most of us, most people might stay silent until their productivity becomes low. FMLA becomes higher. Now, if you guys do process improvement, whatever it is that's in your guys' company, all that now has to be on a rise. How many of you guys love doing those? I know you do. So a lot of people wait, right? And now HR is left for firefighting this instead of leading. It's really tiresome. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story before I go into the next slide. I have 3 beautiful children. Not 1, not 2, but all 3 are autistic, and they all have ADHD. I don't find this as a problem. I feel like they chose me to be their mother. So a lot of the times I get this, oh my God, how are you handling it? I was like, this is my pride and joy. These are my pride and joys. These are my reasons why. I was at a bedside for 20 years. I worked in the ER, saw everything and everything, y'all. You can't come to me with nothing. I've been there and done that, okay? No shame. And I had my eldest, Rohan, he was nonverbal, was labeled as being autistic 10 years ago or 11 years ago. Now with me being an ER professional, I was like, autism? What is that? No idea. There was not a lot of resources out there. And I got labeled as the nurse that called in sick all the time. Now, in Kaiser, I'm going to call them out. Y'all call them out. I'm just going to call them out. Okay. Can't sue me if I quit. Just saying, is we have a schedule, right? Every Thursday, Friday, every other weekend, whatever they want to state. And they told me, they go, ma'am, you have a pattern. I said, of what? They said, of calling in sick. And I said, congratulations. They go, what are you talking about? I said, if I call in sick every Wednesday or every Friday, that will co-create a pattern that you have given me. But thank you for letting us know that we're back in kindergarten. Like, you can't tell me I have a pattern if I work every Wednesday. I'm going to call off every Wednesday if I work every Wednesday, if that's a problem. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So I was actually then had to make the choice. I was given two choices, to either quit my job or to decrease my work hours, because they didn't have the support for me with children with special needs. And at that time, they were just like, those are your only two options. And then I asked, I said, is there any other resources? They said no. From that day, I knew I was meant to do something bigger to solve that gap. Because everyone with silent struggles, whether it's children with autism, being diagnosed with cancer, now being diagnosed with all these new rare genetic testing. I love EAP. If you're in here and you are an EAP, I love you all. But there's something about nursing that comes back. We do not do therapy. I want to repeat. We're not therapists, but it is like a life coach with a whole lot of medical background. We had sex and out came a nurse coach. Okay? So it's very unique. We are the only board certified coaches in the world to be able to help with mental health issues. And any nurse coach can do a variety of different things. So when I had this particular situation that happened to me, I wanted to co-create a system. I wanted to co-create a space for out-of-the-box thinking. I wanted to co-create a space where HR directors, and to be honest with you, her name is Jessica. I actually still talk to her to this day. And she has seen me grown over the past 11 years. And a couple of years ago, she was actually sitting in one of these rooms in the back, surprised me. And she said it. She goes, I didn't have the resources now. And I'm now that particular resource for all of you and your company to help you expand and keep your employees feeling loved, heard, and supported so you can do your real job. How would you guys like that? Huh? If we ignore mental health, your team will have a high turnover. There'll be an absentees, meaning they're there, but they're not really working. How many of you guys have those employees? Because I did that at work too. Your team morale and the culture declines because people don't want to come to work. I believe in if we serve the family first and really focus in on that home life balance, even if they come to work for 6 hours, they will be more productive and more compassionate, and they'll actually come to work to say, hi, hello, how is your day coming today? And it really does help decrease the burnout for all of you. And I call you guys the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because you guys have to be hard on the outside and you guys mesh between the CEOs and the HR world and the frontline employees, correct? And it's a big balance, but you have to have the peanut butter and the jelly together to complete the sandwich. And that's why I call you guys the peanut butter and jelly sandwich team. Why can't you do this alone? Just like how I said, HR, you guys are not managed to do crisis. You guys are not managed in trauma-informed care. You guys are not managed to do things, and you should not have to. You guys are not needing to add that extra burden along with all your paperwork, all your HR paperwork, all the benefits, all these other stuff, all these other things that you guys have to do on a daily life, right? And it's confidentiality. Especially here in California, HR directors are only limited to do so many different things, and you guys can't say a lot, otherwise you get sued. It is very challenging. And so what we do is we take that away from you directly. You guys are able to just say, hey, I have this added benefit. You guys can talk to Nurse Coach Bina. I have Elizabeth in the back. She's actually from Iowa, one of my team members back here, and you guys are able to take a back seat. And because we are able to train and do all this stuff for us, they can tell us everything and anything. And guess what? It's HIPAA. As long as it's not the mandated reporters, we are mandated reporters. As long as it's something that I can't do, they can talk whatever they want. And guess what? They feel loved, they feel heard, and they feel supported. And they're like, and my work pays? Yes. Like even for all the HR directors, this is a benefit for all of you as well. We have to remind ourselves that behind every employee, it's a real human being. And what we do, different from EAP or different from other places, is we really provide that rapid response, which I'll get to in just a pure second. This is actually another person. I was working for a company. This is Cindy. This is a true life. She was a mother of special needs, and she was really wanting to take a leave of absence. She worked with me for about 2 to 3 sessions. They're about 45 minutes long, and I was able to get her to stay, feel like she was completed at home. We were worked on a plan, so she had a plan and care, and she didn't have to take her FMLA because she knew exactly the action steps she needed to do at home to support her child, and I was able to bridge the gap between her and her employer. So they were able to make certain accommodations specifically around her particular need, because it is also in the ADA world, we do have ADA compliance, as you guys all know. And when I spoke to her after 3 sessions or 4 sessions, like, she gave me the biggest hug, and she says I wouldn't have been able to do it. And HR gave me a hug because she says she's one of my best employees. I didn't want to lose her. I said, you don't want to lose her. 1, because they're human beings. And 2, that's a whole lot of another work for you guys if they lose an employee, right? It's a lot of work. We guarantee a rapid response. So again, not dodging AP. It's 4 or 5 weeks out. We respond to somebody within 48 hours. You only need to tell, that employee only needs to tell their story once, and that's it. And what we do is we coach around mental, emotional, behavioral, and they're also really tailored wellness action plans. On top of that, we actually just really embody with what you guys are looking for. And it's not this one-stop shop. It's not this, hey, I'm going to pay $10,000 as a retainer, and then maybe 2 people use it, and then we're losing money, and you are losing money at the end of the year. We really want to make sure that it's just beyond that management crisis. I also do a lot of lunch and learns to a lot of companies where you can fill the room. A lot of people are like, hi, do you have a max? I said, no, fill it. I just talked to last year to a company, and they had about 1,000 people in the room. Actually, Helena here is actually one of my clients right now who's present in the room. And fill the room. Fill it with as many people as you want, because it's the one-to-many model. And then what happens is, in that culture, the way I do my presentations is very unique in its own way, very engagement, and it's 100% confidential. So a lot of you are like wondering, how is this working? How does that go? I use a very specific tool. It's a QR code. It's all engaged. It's all engaged, but no one knows. It's all unanimous. So people are able to talk freely. And guess what? It gives you guys core information about what's really happening, without people feel like they can't state what is happening in their real world. And it's just an ongoing culture support. It prevents burnout. I teach a lot of wellness things, so I am a somatic healer. I also do NLP, and I am a hypnotherapist. So no, I'm not going to come to you guys hypnotherapy, so if I shake your hand, you will not fall asleep, okay? I can do that, and the answer is no. But we use a lot of that inner tools in between to really help move the client faster, so they're able to go to work at the same time and be more productive. It is a proven, trust, and recognized. I have now been doing this now for 5 years. Dome Construction, who is not here with me today, was the first one to say yes. And shortly after, NVIDIA said yes. Biotechny, David is actually outside here running around. I did a lunch and learn work for him. Integrative Health is here. And it's just trusted by HRs nationwide. I just got IHOP this past year, so I am now officially global. So that's my first one to go. So now the number one question is, can you manage everybody? Yes. Guess what? There's 50,000 other nurse coaches out there waiting for a job. I just don't want to do your job. But the answer is yes, I do. So imagine the shift. Imagine if HR leaders are free to actually lead strategically. How would that feel for all of you? You actually can just do your job, not feeling like you have to bring other people's stress into it. The employees are supported and engaged, and the culture retains and empowers. If you guys been to my table upstairs, everything's empowerment. Everything's all about that. It's no judgment zone. And I remind people, it is okay to make a mistake. It is okay to fumble. It is okay to take a day off and say, hey, I'm going to the beach. It is okay. Give yourself permission. Because if you don't take care of yourself, we cannot be helping others. And your people deserve the better support. And I say this very nicely, because I realize there is another EAP out there, but sorry. This will really stop losing employees because it addresses the underlying problem. A lot of the times when people have anxiety or undiagnosed ADHDs or recently diagnosed ADHDs when they're older, right? They're like, what was the problem this whole time? Now it comes in. I have a coach that specialized specifically in ADHD. And so we really bring that in and give them tools to really help them in their work so they're more productive. And they learn more about themselves. I actually was diagnosed in college. I was fully dyslexic. I didn't finish reading until I was in 5th grade. I read my first full book in 6th grade. I was told that I was stupid. I was told that I didn't know what I was doing. And, I showed that teacher wrong. You know that hashtag watch me? Yep, that's me. Got my master's. I actually doubled my master's, did double honors in that, and I graduated in the top of my class. Not to brag about myself, but just to know that thinking outside the box when people are saying you don't have the skill set, I'm still fully dyslexic, okay? Numbers, letters, words. If you talk to me some days, I'm like, I have a Bina language because sometimes what comes to me and processes out completely different. And guess what? I own it. I don't care about it because I have all these things that I need to, and we don't need to chase letters. And so that's the end of my slideshow. Any other questions? I didn't know it was the end of my slide. I usually have pictures of my children on here, but I was just telling Helena, I must have been really upset with them and took them off. Must have happened because they're generally on there. And actually I do have a really cute video of my daughter that talks about different emotions. And there was a video that I caught that did not make this presentation for whatever reason, but she was telling me on how she was sad this one day. And she goes, Mom, can we have a talk? I said, absolutely. So we had a conversation. I said, baby girl, do you feel better now? She goes, my heart feels warm, but I see frustration and anger in my aura. She's 7. I said, girl, most 40-year-olds don't even know what that is. And she goes, Mom, this is the thing. She goes, there's a reason why I chose you to be my mom, because you teach me these things. So my mission on this world now is to give that same thing to every employee. That's it. Question? Yeah. Uh-huh. Correct. So a lot of the times when I get embedded into a large organization, I actually give you guys all the marketing tools that you need. So there's a QR code that goes directly into my system. We give you guys the language. We embed your logo into my logo. We make it so easy so that way you guys don't have to do it. And then on multiple calls, just like when people are reaching, so in your HR benefit, when people get hired on, there's a little video that I make for every single employee or every single person that comes up. So I introduce myself, that comes in, and then that way they are able to just see that, hey, I am an actual real person. We do everything via Zoom. I do fly across if people want to have that extra cost of flying me out. Go ahead, take me away from my kids. I will love you. I will encourage it. I do love my kids, but yes, we do also need a break. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Any other questions? If you guys, there's a bunch of stuff, please take them home. A lot of stuff up there to come. A lot of gadgets and things. Okay. Thank you.